course, I'm talking about Art the Clown and Terrifier 3. We are Art the Clown fans. We are.
It's a hard R film. It's a horror film. It's a gross out horror film.
Word of mouth spread. And then when the second one came out, it got a little bit bigger budget, and then the word of mouth put it in the theaters. But both those movies have made a lot of money. Literally, art. So had a friend of mine drew this because he surrounded Art with some cats because Art the Clown is a cat lover.
Who's this Santa?
Hey, Santa's handing out presents!
Looking forward to the best Christmas ever.
I decided to go heavy drama with number 6. I think this could roll this with some Oscars. I think people are going to be totally like. Of course, I'm talking about Art the Clown and Terrifier 3. And yes, we are Art the Clown fans. We are literally art. So had a friend of mine drew this because he surrounded Art with some cats because Art the Clown is a cat lover, and I love telling everybody about that. But Terrifier 3, in all seriousness, I think it definitely is going to be the horror movie of the fall and the winter. Everybody's eyes are going to be looking at it. The first 2 movies did really, really well. This really is going to be the first time seeing Art on the big screen. And I'm not sure how they're going to react to it. Because Damien Leone and David Howard Thornton, those guys come out with some crazy ass scenes in their films.
I never even heard of Terrifier 1 when that first film came out. When Terrifier 2 came out 2 or 3 years ago, that one was one that was a very silent hit. It didn't get a ton of advertising, but word of mouth, at least amongst the local film critics community here in Vegas, everyone was talking about that film. I never did get around to see it because horror is one that I don't really watch as many horror films, but Terrifier 2 was one that I at least considered because, for whatever reason, grabbed everyone in the zeitgeist and just grabbed everyone by the throat. So the fact that now we're getting Art the Clown on a Christmas movie.
Brian, it's a loving homage to our favorite holiday of the year. That's all it is. I mean, that's it's Santa art. It's Santa art. I mean, look at it. He's giving presents to everybody. I mean, Santa's here. I mean, what more could you want? This scene is the one scene in Terrifier 3 that everybody's talking about, and people were crying about it, bitching about it because it showed Art the Clown looks like he's going to kill a kid. Well, guess what, boys and girls? We've already done that in movies for a long, long time. This is not going to be the first. Seeing a little 8-year-old get an axe in the head is not going to be all that shocking. If you're a horror fan, it's not.
And look,
if you're mainstream, you might go like, "Well, that's sort of mean."
It's a horror film. It's a gross out horror film. It's a hard R film, right? It's
I mean, that's what it's supposed to be. Art is not. He's a prolific serial killer. He's a slasher film. I just couldn't understand why people were crying about it.
But it looks like it's purposely a low budget type film. And when they show the title card on the trailer, it's a manual zoom in, like they used to do in the 70s. So is this film kind of calling back to 70s horror films?
It's only the style of the film. It's deliberately on purpose. It's not for the lack of money.
But is the first 2 films, though, were they deliberately done kind of low budget, or at least in that style?
No, the first 2 were definitely low budget. The first one was very low budget. You're right, it came out. It wasn't the first time Art had popped up. He popped up in 2 other independent anthology films, and before he got his first film. And then, of course, that was a word of mouth spread. And then when the second one came out, same thing. It got a little bit bigger budget, and then the word of mouth put it in the theaters where it did really, really well. Both those movies have made a lot of money. So he got himself a proper budget this time, and it's going to be very exciting to see what he does with it. We don't necessarily want to see another 2.5 hour long movie.
That's the best part about horror films, is that they're generally 90 minutes in and out, and whatever the body count is.
Terrifier 2 was 2 hours and 20 minutes, I think.
Jason Patric from Speed 2 and a bunch of other stuff, Sleepers, and Daniel Roebuck. Daniel Roebuck, of all things, was on Matlock as a series regular 30 years ago. So I have no idea how old he is now or what he's doing in this film, but Very few actual other actors that I recognized in the on the cast list.
He really is a jack of all trades actor. I mean, he could do comedy. He does episodic TV. He could do drama. In fact, he did a movie called Saving Grace. Ended up being one of my top 5 films of the year. It was a magnificent movie. Loved it. Daniel Roebuck he's one of those actors that when you see him in a film, you feel a little bit more comfortable watching it because you know you're going to be getting a good performance from a very steady actor.
Final thoughts on David Howard Thornton. I probably should have brought him up earlier. He looks like just a regular old dude. He looks really scary in this Art the Clown makeup. Doesn't look like anything like him. Have you seen anything else with David Howard Thornton, and what do you think of him as an actor outside of this role?
He's a good actor. He did a movie called The Mean One, which was a play on The Grinch. They couldn't say The Grinch because of copyright, but they said it The Mean One, and so it was a story about the Grinch meeting a grown-up Cindy Lou and battling over Christmas. Here's what I honestly really hope for. I really hope that these guys come out there and make a boatload of money. I really do. But after that, honestly, I want to see him do something else with his face in front of the camera. He's done 3 Terrifier movies. It's time to move on and do some serious acting because he has it in him. And same thing with Damien. It's like, okay, look, you came out there, you made 3 great classic horror films, but they put Art the Clown like out there 2 weeks ahead of Halloween Ends. And I was thinking to myself, going like, man, that's gonna be rough. That's rough if everybody's amped up for Halloween Ends. Well, Art dominated. Not only did the movie hold, it had legs. It went up against Halloween Ends and did very well and still brought in a lot of people and a lot of money. That's just no way. He's going to get buried.
Well,
No.
it'll be interesting to see how many screens Terrifier 3 gets. It's up against a lot of other high-profile horror films coming out for the Halloween season, so it'll be interesting to see how well it does and how many screens it actually gets. Art the Clown, Terrifier 3. Are you guys planning to watch it in theaters? Let me know in the comments section below this video. Also, have you seen the first 2 Terrifier films? I haven't seen either of them, but I know Terrifier 2 really hit big a couple of years ago. Let me know if you guys have seen them, or if you're planning to see them before watching this film. Let me know in the comments section below as well. Also, be sure to click somewhere around in here. If you click on it, it makes my channel look good with the algorithm. I've been Dragon Movie Guy. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.